a while ago.
That's gonna fuck us over.
But anyway, we're
And that's how my
live.
Tuesday went.
And welcome to another episode of Take 3. I am not booked and fail. We've sent him away on assignment. He's doing a segment on food. He might bring up later on. But I'm taking over this time. But I've got a bunch of guests. But before I go to the guest, Matthew's here. Matt, how's it going?
Oh, so I get it. I can't even be counted as a guest. Hey, my fucking show. I love this. Fuck you too, Malcolm. I'm glad I've given up my Friday night of so many things I could be doing. Do you know how much mindless hours of YouTube or Netflix or Amazon I could be watching right now? But I choose to be here. And you can't even treat me as a guest? Fuck you. But no, I'm glad to be here.
Also here is we've got Doug Castle. You would have seen him on Rankin, but he's here as well.
Oh man, I'm excited. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited for the topic that we're about to talk about. So,
and also you may have seen him in the chats lots of times, but he's actually on screen. We've got Cameron Holzman. Cameron, how's it going?
It's going good. I'm happy to be here. Yeah, I watch every week live when I can, and if not, I usually try and at least check the bits and pieces when I can't. Usually I'm in the chat, and so saw that there was an opportunity that I could be on tonight, and I jumped at it and figured why not.
So, yes, and Ford, we open up the game, and I've got a new game that I was thinking of doing. And before people go, it's like last time you made a game, it's kind of derailed the show. This is a really simple game. Basically, I'm going to say a movie, and then the next person will just say a movie that starts with the last letter of that movie. That's basically the game. And if they can't, then they are eliminated, and we start fresh with the next person in line. So I'm just going to go in the order that's on my screen. So I will ask Matt, Matt will ask Doug, and Doug will ask Cameron. And the first movie, and actually, no, I won't make a feed because do it simple. But I'm going to go Avatar as the first movie. Matt, Star movie starting bar.
I wonder where you would have gotten that from, Malcolm. Red Dawn.
wow. Yeah, so many ends. Yeah. Yeah, I'm totally about to be eliminated because I can't pull an N. Are you kidding me?
Five.
No Man's Land. No, that's a game. Yeah, I played trivia, guys. Nope, I'm eliminated.
I'm sorry.
I mean, you could have seen No Strings Attached, Napoleon Dynamite.
There's a bunch of
No Country for Old Men.
Yep,
But
totally.
anyway,
Yep, that's me right now.
but anyway, Cameron, time to start fresh.
So I can start with any letter I want, pick any movie. I'm going to start off immediately by being a dick. John Q.
Well, there is one I can think of, but do we want to count articles against people?
You mean like
Yeah.
Because otherwise it'll make anyone who gets T really easy movies. So.
True.
Yeah. I know which one you're thinking of too.
Fair enough.
I'd say articles shouldn't count because.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I'll say it until that bites me in the ass, and then
I'm going to go with the Quick and the Dead.
Oh wow, not the one I thought you were going to go for.
Dawn of the Dead.
Day of the Dead. I should have just said Dawn of the Dead 2004.
Deadpool.
Deadpool. Live and Let. No, wait. No, is that, yeah. No, Live and Let Die is the name of the Bond movie, correct?
It is.
Okay. Yeah.
Ooh, an E.
What?
East
Yeah,
of
bro.
Eden.
What the hell? There's one movie that starts with an E that you should have chosen.
Napoleon Dynamite.
Do I have another E? I always forget.
Yeah, you have the
Okay. Escape from New York. I always forget how to spell Napoleon Dynamite because I'm a dumb.
Kingpin.
No Country for Old Men.
Shit now. Oh my god. The end comes back. Oh, No Strings Attached. What the fuck is that?
Wait, I have a question.
What?
If I pick a film that ends with a number, do they have to start a film with the number or the last letter of
The last
that
letter
number?
of the number, we would do the spelling. So let's say you pick the movie I Am number 4. You would do an R.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll still say what I was thinking. Deadpool 2.
Ocean's 8.
Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
You Got Mail.
Longest Yard.
Shit.
What's the
Man,
time limit on this, Malcolm?
What the hell, Cameron?
I mean, I'll do a countdown if it feels like it's taking too long of
We
a
already
time.
did all the fucking Dead movies. No, that's not, no. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Is that the sequel?
Yeah.
No, fuck yeah, old one.
Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Back to the D. Goddamn.
That was very deliberate.
Yep. We're always deliberate about D on this show.
Deliverance.
Okay, another E. No, because that's Avengers. Escape from LA. Holy shit! There we go.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Oh.
Now, I can be a dick here and bring back a letter. And I go to be that dick. Platoon.
You mother fucker, Malcolm. I really did No Country for Old Men. New Jack City.
Nice. Nice.
I couldn't remember if that was a movie or a band.
Yours, Mine, and Ours.
The original or a remake?
The one with Dennis Quaid, obviously.
Yeah!
The one with Drake Bell and Miranda Cosgrove.
The most 2005 movie. Renee Russo. God damn. I miss the early 2000s.
Scarface.
We're fucking back to E.
We found 2 letters.
Can I just say how much I'm enjoying actually being knocked out super early just watching you guys?
And Carpenter, no, like there were many times I'm annoyed Carpenter didn't make a sequel to Escape from LA. This is another time. I know if I can fuck.
I've got at least 3.
Escape Plan.
Nice.
Yeah.
I may or may not look at my DVDs, but
Now You See Me. It starts with the letter N. That's all it hurts.
No. I'm just saying we're back to
Oh,
E
give me
again.
another E.
We're fucking
Give me
back
another
to E
E.
again.
It's a terrible movie, but I'm going Exodus, Gods and Monsters.
Oh,
Sorry, that's not the name of the film.
Exodus,
It's Exodus, Gods, and
Monsters?
Kings.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, what the hell? What monsters are in Exodus, Malcolm? Did you ever?
He's thinking of Lana Del Rey.
The
you ever
terrible
crack
actors
open
that
the
are in.
woodchuck guy there?
Well, technically, the devil can be considered a monster. He's
He's
probably
not
not in
in
the movie, but
Hey,
He's not in
hey.
Exodus. The
So
movie.
Malcolm's out, right?
yeah, I'm out. I stuffed up the movie.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Thank you for letting me on your show. But yeah. So I think Matt starts.
Yeah, now you have
Yeah.
to start fresh. Oh, holy shit! There's so many movies that are back in play now.
So many movies that end with the letter E or N.
Cheaper by the dozen.
Now You See Me Too.
The Omen.
North by Northwest.
The Terminator.
Rat Race.
Oh, we're back to E again, aren't we? Well, Escape from New York. Or
You said that already.
No, yeah, that's the thing. We never explained Malcolm. When we start a new round, is it like
Pretty much the same with the other games. We still can't repeat.
Oh, come on.
okay. All right.
But I'll let you do
Yeah.
another one. Yeah.
Because you didn't explain the rules fully, Malcolm.
Because otherwise we're going to get stuck in the exact same loop that's been happening.
Wait, I got it. El Mariachi. Yeah.
Nice.
Into the Woods.
Oh, Star Wars: A New Hope.
Enter the Dragon.
And shit. No, that wouldn't count. Well, would New Moon count, or would I have to say Twilight New Moon?
You would have to say Twilight New
I'd
Moon.
have to say Twilight New Moon.
I think I would say the Twilight Saga New Moon, but
Sure. Never Say Never Again.
Never Say Never. I believe is the Justin Bieber movie, correct?
That is correct.
Never Say Never. Okay. The fact you know that should depress yourself. But
I've seen that movie more than once.
I've seen it 0 times, and I feel like a complete human. Okay, so I got R.
I have an R that could send me back to N.
The Running Man.
9. The animated film with those ragdolls.
8 Below.
What Women Want.
Oh, Twilight New Moon.
Okay, I'm going to see if I'm allowed to do this. Can I say a different movie that also has the name 9, the one with Daniel Day-Lewis?
I will allow it because it is 2
Different
different
movie.
movies.
The 9.
The 9?
The 9.
Oh, okay. I get what you're saying. It's it. Okay. Okay.
And we're back to E again.
Yes, we are.
My strategy is to try and keep continuously just pushing him over to one letter till he runs out.
What turned into a harmless.
Ender's Game.
Oh, and you send me back to E.
Thank you, Harrison Ford.
Eat, Pray, Love.
You pray love. Oh, you fuck. God damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shit. Evan Almighty.
Nice.
Ooh. Yellow Submarine.
Why the fuck do you know so many movies on this TV, you fucker?
I just thought of another Y that I could send him back to E with.
There was one. There was an E that came out earlier this year.
Endgame doesn't count.
Yeah.
No,
the Avengers
Endgame
movie.
doesn't count, but the one I'm thinking of does.
Shit, what movies does Malcolm see?
I'll give you Lord of the Rings. Are we gonna timer on this?
No, I'm gonna
Oh,
do it.
Fine,
Fuck.
I give up. Fuck off. Cool, you won on E. I hope you feel good at that.
Earth Girls are easy. Easy Rider.
Right.
Easy.
The one I
I'm
was
sorry.
referencing
No.
was
Can we stop?
Escape
He went
Room.
with the I'm sorry. He went with the movie Earth Girls Are Easy before saying Easy Rider. Are we gonna overlook that? Nope. Just me? Like when it was like movies that start with E. Let's see. A very famous film came out during a changing time in the decade, or a movie that plays on Cinemax at 2 a.m. or Skinemax. I don't actually know the plot.
I've never seen either of them, so I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
How
according
dare you,
according
Earth
to
Girls.
according to Cool Guy, there was a Netflix short that was also called Endgame. But
That probably wasn't theatrically released though. So.
yeah. I mean, the movie I was referencing was Escape Room.
Ah, shit. Exorcist. God damn. Exorcist.
And you would have brought in a brand new letter with M.
Exorcist. Damn it.
Did we never hit M at any point?
Nope.
No,
Wow.
it just goes to show there was a lot of movies that ends in E or N. And D.
E's and T's.
Oh, my
It also-
strategy varied. Like as soon as we Malcolm left, my strategy was just try and hit E really hard back at Matt. Because the more I can force him to burn movies from one letter, the harder it gets.
But yeah, we're gonna move on to talk about movie news. There wasn't really a lot of sort of major news that has dropped.
Oh, excuse me, there was a huge one. We all know. I mean, come on. The star of Never Stop challenged Tom Cruise to an octagon match. Can we please talk about this? I've had no platform to talk about this other than Twitter.
I mean, sure.
Let me just get my quick vlog.
I'm
No
not
one else
talking
has to
about it,
comment
yeah.
on this. But here's the thing. Yeah, there we go. Take a drink, Brooklyn. Justin Bieber. I know you're on drugs, but how many drugs did you take? Did you realize Tom Cruise was like an all-state wrestling champ, and he does all those Mission Impossible stunts. He's been trained in martial arts and in fighting for like 30 years. You're a twig. I could probably kick your ass. And I can't kick anyone's ass. And you want to go into an octagon with him? I mean, I want it to happen because here's the thing. I would pay pay-per-view prices for that fight. I'm being honest. I would. I put down money. I've never bought a pay-per-view thing in my life. I would buy a pay-per-view to see Tom Cruise beat the shit out of Justin Bieber in an octagon. It'd be amazing.
Now, are we talking $60 WWE prices?
Dude, I
or
don't.
$100?
They could say this is going to cost you all the money in your bank account, and I'd be like, "Fuck it, let's go." That's how much I want to see this. Please.
So here's the thing, it's interesting because I'm like, I want to see this, but I also like kind of want to see both of them win and both of them lose.
I'm
It's
sorry,
like
there
Tom
is no
Cruise beat the
scenario.
ever-loving
There's no
crap out
scenario
of Justin
in this
Bieber.
world where Justin Bieber beats Tom Cruise in an octagon match. I'm sorry, we all have seen the video where like he like shoved that like British photographer, and then when the photographer tried to kick his ass, once his giant ass like 6 foot gunned out bodyguards were from him, started being like, "Yeah, fuck you, man. Take the bodyguards away." The fucking like fat photographer would have knocked his ass clean out.
Yeah,
Didn't him and Orlando Bloom get into a fight?
Yeah, Orlando Bloom probably beat the shit out of him.
I mean, to be fair, the only thing which will make Bieber win will be if Tom Cruise stuffs up a stunt and ends up injuring his toe or something like that.
Dude, Tom Cruise could fight him dressed as Les Grossman. He'd still kick his ass.
Oh, Jesus.
Les Grossman could kick real Tom Cruise's ass,
Dude,
though.
I'm sorry. Also, if you want to make it a dance fight in the octagon, Tom Cruise still wins. We've all seen Tropic Thunder.
And honestly,
We've all
if
seen
some
Risky Business.
even
Levi!
though it's not going to happen, I do. If it does happen, I want to see Tom Cruise dress up as Les Grossman for the match.
Fuck yeah.
But
No, you know what I want? I want
Tom Cruise cuts his own promos as Les Grossman.
I want him. No, listen, career technology is that thing. I want it to be Tom Cruise, but I want Les Grossman to be his manager, a la Shimoda. So we get.
A la Man on the Moon style.
I've never seen that, but. What? When did it come out?
Like,
no, it was like the late.
it was
2006?
99.
Was it way earlier than
was
that?
it 99 or was it?
Yeah. Yeah, that was 99. But I'm pretty sure because he was nominated for the Golden Globe the year after.
99.
He won the Golden Globe for it.
Oh,
I apologize that when I was 2, I didn't get out to see Man on the Moon, but
Listen,
I mean,
sure I thought about it.
Jim Carrey movie before he went downhill.
yeah, I mean, Jim Carrey's the only one that sort of won 2 Golden
Excuse me,
Globes, but
Pee-wee
yet never
Bruce
been
Almighty
nominated for the Oscars. So.
Again, I repeat, it's it's one of his last good movies before he went downhill.
You're just mean, man. What the hell did Jim ever do to you?
But anyway,
Number 23.
All right, fine.
Okay, but Jim and Andy, like the documentary, was phenomenal.
yeah.
Oh no, absolutely. I love him in dramatic roles. I really do.
Yeah.
I like him when he's talking out of his ass, but that's just me.
But yeah,
Matt, the box office would verify it's not just you that enjoyed that.
Well, the second time around, it wasn't as fun. But
yeah.
I'm sorry
But
to
yeah.
hide that shit, Malcolm.
But yeah, time to get the train back on the tracks. There hasn't been a lot of sort of major news about castings and that, but we did have a few trailers. The first trailer that we've got is we got a new trailer for Frozen 2, which looks really dark for a Disney movies.
Seriously.
Cameron, what do you think of the trailer?
I am so excited for this movie. Like, there's no irony in this. Like, unapologetically, this movie looks awesome. The first Frozen is fantastic. Watch it again in the year 2019 when people have finally shut up about that movie and how amazing it is. It's just legitimately a great film. I'll admit there's some small problems with it, but I really enjoy it. And this trailer, like, I'm very excited. Just the animation of the ocean at the beginning is so, like, photorealistic. It's fantastic, and I'm very pumped.
Mm-hmm.
And Doug, what did you think of the Frozen 2 trailer?
Honestly, I thought it was amazing. I have the same feeling. Where at first I didn't realize I was watching an animated movie. When they showed that first trailer, and you see just what is a beach and ocean. It looks like it's the beach and ocean. I'm excited to see where the story goes. I mean, in all honesty, I did like Frozen. It's not one of my favorite Disney movies, but I did like Frozen. I'm excited to see what they're gonna do with her character because what they're I think elaborating to is that she's gonna have to kind of save the world. So I'm kind of excited where that goes.
Yeah. And Matt, you haven't seen it, but are you looking
I have.
forward to Frozen? Oh,
No. Look, I thought when Old Town Road started, I thought it was a weird addition. But when Elsa went into that barn and pulled out the shotgun, I was like, here we go. Wait, oh, I'm sorry. I was watching the Rambo Last Blood trailer again. My apologies. Disney, you really should release that. No, I haven't seen it.
I mean,
just have the ability to make that joke.
but where I was going with that is, are you looking forward to seeing Frozen 2 anyway?
So this is what happened with Frozen. Frozen came out when I was a junior in high school, and so I did not go and see it in theaters. That's nothing about it. I just don't really go to see a lot of movies in theaters, particularly back then. And then I was babysitting a kid, and he wanted to watch Frozen, and by that point, Frozen had been like in my fucking ear everywhere you went. It's my sister's favorite anime movie. I've heard the fucking soundtrack a billion times. And I was like, all right, let's see this great movie that everyone's losing their shit over. And it was fine. I thought it was okay. I thought it was another fucking movie with a twist villain, to which I was like, all right, originality in film is continually dying, but all right. I liked the first teaser. I thought it was interesting. Listen, that kid has grown up, so I don't know when I'll be seeing Frozen 2. Probably won't be in the theaters. It's no offense, it's just I liked the first one enough. I just didn't love it. I haven't seen this trailer. Maybe I should see it, but the odds are I'll probably hear about it and be like, oh, maybe I should go do it. And then probably not. But hey, listen, if it pushes computer animation the way you guys are talking about this trailer, that's great. Because even if it's a movie I don't see, if it leads to a lot of great developments in the way we can make animated movies and movies in general, that's awesome. I'm all for that. Just don't make another fucking Let It Go, man. Don't do it to us.
Sadly, I do think they will do something that's going to be of that same scale, just because they're going to
Can we please, just a question, because I know Idina Menzel is probably going to sing whatever song that gets nominated for an Oscar for this movie. Please, God, just let John Travolta introduce her again at the Oscars next year. Please. Please. Let that hairpiece, giant forehead man that I love come out and say her name or touch her face in that odd way again. It's great.
The beautiful, wickedly talented Adele Dazeem.
He starts out really good. He's like the wonderful and I'm sorry, I need to really get into Travolta. The wonderful and wickedly talented Adele Dazeem.
Yeah. The cool guy just said in the chat, let it go, Matt, let it go.
The one thing I will say with Frozen is trying to figure out a good way to phrase this. I have sort of a thing with Disney animated films and the way they're adapted to Broadway, and Frozen is a show that I think just last year was made into a Broadway musical, and with it they added a bunch more songs. Pretty much all of them are better than anything that was in the original film. There's a song that wholesale essentially almost replaces Let It Go within the show, and it's infinitely better. It's called Monster, and I love it. And if they can get people who wrote new stuff for the Broadway show to be involved in writing stuff for the new movie, my expectation for that goes even higher than it already is.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Once I saw the movie, Let It Go wasn't even the best song I thought out of the soundtrack. I thought whatever on that not the Iceman chick, the other one, and the Prince sing. I thought that was a really good song. Yeah. Kristen. No, not Kristen.
No.
I don't know anything about. That's it.
Or you get Lin-Manuel Miranda, just write your entire thing again and make a smash hit, because Moana's was fantastic.
Everything Lin-Manuel Miranda touches turns to gold. So
yeah,
true.
And I mean, this brings me to another point. For the Oscars next year, do we see a lot of Disney original songs in the original song category? Because you've got Speechless from Aladdin, you're bound to have something new in Lion King.
Well,
What do you if they have an original
my
one?
thing with Speechless is I loved it, but I'm afraid because it's been released so early, it could have that effect to where, like, if a lot of our movies with great original songs get released later on in the year, Speechless might get forgotten about. The Academy has done that before with performances, music, and other stuff where the movies
Documentaries.
where it's just like
No.
if it's released too early in the year, it's not that it's not great, it's not in their head, which sucks because Speechless was an amazing song, but
I thought it was one of the best additions to Aladdin.
it really was. I because it was a perfect movie musical moment where it's what in a Kevin Smith movie would be a monologue, you sing, and that's what's perfect. You explain what the character's feeling in the moment. Well, because Kevin Smith always, when his characters are feeling something, they have long monologues about it. In a musical, you sing what you're feeling instead of having a long monologue about it. But
I would say, like,
all about those thoughts on a Suddenly Soundtracks episode on Hairspray.
I would say, like, at this point, Speechless is for sure in the running. And the thing is, so far this year, I can't think of many, like, original songs from movies that have come out so far that really stand a high chance of making it into that list. Like, the only other things I can think of are Together from Afar from How to Train Your Dragon 3, which to me, I think fully should make it in. It's an amazing song. It's one of the best movies of the year. And then really I can think of, like, there was music in Lego Movie 2, but it wasn't amazing. And that's really all I can think of.
Both of those movies came out this year.
Funny thing that you guys are forgetting, while yes, it's not original to movies, Rocky Man came out and they can use their songs.
Well, I mean,
they can't use most of the songs. They can use "I'm Gonna Love Me Again," which was written by Elton John.
They can't use Tiny Dancer. They can't use Tiny Dancer. It has to be an original song.
They can use the song that played over the credits. They can't use any of the other ones.
Because if that was the case, how many Oscars would the Beatles have with their songs from their movies?
Yesterday is going to win all of the Oscars.
Yeah. It's just the Beatles. Oh my god, I can't wait.
And on that note, Bohemian Rhapsody would have been nominated last.
Yeah, well, unless if Malcolm was on the Academy.
I mean,
I didn't mean like of all those songs. I didn't mean the opening, the credit song. That's what I meant. Sorry.
I didn't see Rocket Man yet. So.
Yeah. I guess that's what you meant, but yeah.
I will be seeing Field of Dreams next week, though.
Yeah. I mean,
I can't wait.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
good.
I mean, yeah. With the original song category, it's interesting because quite often, like, well, yes, like Matt, you're right. Like, quite often, if movies released early in the year, it does mean it could miss out. The original songs is actually slightly different, because sometimes, like, the songs, if they're from a movie early in the year, they can still really resonate. I mean, I agree with you. Speechless, it was a great song, but that one might be forgotten about because I don't hear a lot of people talking about that song anymore.
Exactly. Yeah, I think if it was released in like November, if Aladdin was released in November, December, I think it could be a lock. But I think the problem is that it's a good song. It's a really good song. The problem is like it's not like Shallows. Like if Shallows was like if for some reason A Star Is Born was released in January or something, Shallows still was going to get nominated and probably win the Oscar because it was such a good song, was played everywhere. Like you're not hearing Speechless on the radio. You know, you're just not. Even though it's a great song, it's just. I mean, listen, it's a great song. I would love it. It was nominated, but you know,
I think it's got a lot of competition.
Yeah,
we have no clue what's coming out in the later half of the year. That could be, wasn't there? You got Upward coming out, which is going to have music.
Well, you also got to remember that like the best original song category doesn't even have to be a musical. There have been movies that have had their opening title song be nominated for Oscars. So we could do something like that.
And I'll be yeah. The other thing I've noticed with the original song category is
Mhm.
quite often it's usually the songs which have a big name singer attached to them a lot of the time.
Malcolm,
So,
do you
like-
have
They
your
usually have at
hat
least
on?
one real big name singer, one from a Disney film, and then one that's like more in obscure. Like last year you had Shallow, but then you also had like When a Cowboy Trades His Spurs for Wings from Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
Yeah,
A very interesting dynamic.
yeah. I mean, there's usually at least one strange choice to pick, and quite often it's the same for the ones they pick to that perform. Quite often, it's the ones that the big names ones which get on there more than
True.
the Buster Scruggs one. But yeah, but I would imagine that because I didn't realize Rocketman had an original song in it, but now that I do, I think that would probably is bound to be nominated because they're going to want to find a way to get Elton John to perform at the Oscars in one way or the other. But
Yeah.
You think about
They
it.
did
so
also
I-
just.
Oh God.
You go ahead.
Per what you were saying, if they give him the nomination, they can get him to possibly come in and sing "Circle of Life." You know, they can get him, shoehorn him in that way. Hey, you can do your new song, but you want to just give some love to "Circle
You
of
want
Life."
to just open the Oscars with Circle of Life, Elton? Everyone.
Yeah.
Do you want to host the Oscars?
Oh my God, Elton John is fucking hilarious. If you guys have ever seen him
No.
on Graham Norton, he's fucking hilarious. He would be great, actually.
Magnificent.
Funny as shit.
The one thing I was
Yeah, I
gonna
mean-
say,
no, go ahead.
like this week, it might have even been today. I'm not totally sure. They released a song from Toy Story 4, I think the Ballad of the Lonesome Cowboy, which I haven't listened to because it sounds like it's probably going to be a country.
Spoilers? You're telling me what he's alone? Thanks a lot, marketing.
Yeah, but like you're getting a country song, which oftentimes there's one song that sort of leans in that direction, and you're getting a song from an animated Pixar movie that people are going to.
Okay.
So I think that has high chances. I'm saying that having not heard the song.
This has nothing to do with the original song, but if they kill off Woody in Toy Story 4 a la Logan, I'm gonna fucking lose my shit and find the fucking makers of Toy Story 4. You've heard it here first. Because first that poster was released and people were like, oh, I'm getting a Logan feel from it. Like, no. If you guys don't remember, that didn't end well for the person whose name was on it.
Is that the only Pixar movie coming out?
That's the
Yeah,
only, it's the only one this year. But we've got
next year.
yeah, I think we've got onwards next year. But
Oh, that is next year. I thought that was next year for some reason.
but yeah, and one of the another big trailer that actually dropped this week. I know Doug's really excited for this. Is Doctor Sleep, and I've seen a lot of people go that this is an unnecessary sequel and blah blah blah. But what people forget to realize is with Stephen King, you're bound to get that a lot of his books all of his books are probably going to get adapted at some stage, and people forget that this is actually based on a book. So
no one reads, Malcolm.
I do. I do. I read a lot.
But
Hey guys,
I know
come on,
Doug's,
I read too. Okay, I read. Good joke.
That's
I know
actually a
Doug's
good
really
one.
excited for this, so I'll save him for later. But Cameron, what did you think of the Doctor Sleep trailer?
I think I haven't seen it. That's my hot take.
Go on, Doug. What did you think of the
Wait,
trailer?
I can't say anything about the Doctor Sleep trailer?
Did you see it?
Yeah. We want a Ewan McGregor solo film, not Doctor Sleep. Is Ewan McGregor in this? I think so. I thought I saw him in the
movie.
I didn't watch it, but I saw him in the thumbnail. I was like, Ewan, you should have been making an Obi-Wan solo film instead of this shit. But okay. Again, you want to be artsy. All right. I understand, Ewan. Didn't see it, though.
Yeah. Go on, Doug. What did you think of the trailer?
So I'm super hyped for this because as a book reader of The Shining and Doctor Sleep, I think this book had the most ability to be adapted into a movie. There's scenes in the book, in the trailer from the book, that I'm like, they're actually doing it, and it's going to be insane, and fuck. Like, literally, it just leaves you with that intent. For anybody that's saying that this is an unnecessary sequel, go read Doctor Sleep and tell me how it's an unnecessary sequel, because he made a sequel to The Shining, which was one of his best horror movies, not movies, yeah, horror books of all time. Yeah, there you go. That's what I'm looking for. A lot of people are also saying, it's a lot of Kubrick. They're trying to do a merge of both. I mean, there's like two scenes that point out to the Kubrick film, but I mean, majority of it, I have a feeling it's going to be flashback more towards the Shining book.
Yeah, I wouldn't, considering how King feels about the movie, I don't think you're going to get a lot of callbacks to the Kubrick film.
The director has said he's going to try and merge the two so that it's...
What about the miniseries? Are we going to get any callbacks to the miniseries? No?
You mean that shit show that was the miniseries? Because that was a horrible adaptation.
Like, listen, there are good things about that. I actually think the guy that playing Jack was actually pretty good, and his story was fairly well translated, I felt. Overall, it was mostly boring, but that's most miniseries.
Well, that means it's not fairly translated well, because the book is actually really good. Like, and I think the problem with Stuber, can I speak tonight? Kubrick's rendition of The Shining is the fact that he took a lot of liberties with that source material. And I know it's a movie, it's supposed to be art, it's supposed to be subjective, but you didn't even take the words of Stephen King when Stephen King wrote you a script. And that's why I think Stephen King's a little bit more, turned off from the movie than a lot of people realize. But no, I'm super stoked. I think Ewan McGregor was a perfect choice to play Danny, and I think Rebecca Ferguson is she's gonna shock the world with her Rose. She's gonna shock the world, and it's gonna be insane.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, but for me, I really loved Doctor Sleep, and the trailer looks really good, and yet I don't whether or not it's going to be interesting, because I've seen a lot of conflicting reports. Like, some people are saying that it's going to be more referencing this movie, but some people are saying it's more referencing the book. So, I believe that the director has come out saying that it's going to be more of a sequel to the book, because the movie changed some things from the book which would have not worked out in Doctor Sleep. So, because the character Dick Halloran, I think that's the name, but he's going to be in Doctor Sleep, and he died in the movie, but yet he survived in the book. So that's going to be really interesting to see.
Hey, listen.
Yeah.
Ian Malcolm died in the Jurassic Park novel, and yet he's the lead of the Lost World book. Movie and book adaptation.
Well, yeah, no, yeah, well, I know.
I'm sorry, that's my favorite thing, is that he dies, and then Jeff Goldblum plays in the movie and everyone loves him, and then all of a sudden, oh no, he didn't die? No, and he's the main character of the next book. All right, Michael. All right. Well played.
But anyway, we're going to move on to our next topic, which is talking about the E3 entertainment, the E3 gaming convention. I used to know what E3 stands for.
Electronic Entertainment Expo.
That's the one. But yeah, but there's been a lot of games that was announced. Some games which may have been rumored for ages have were confirmed, and we finally got to see some shots from some big games, such as the Avengers game Square Enix is doing. They announced a new Lego Star Wars game, which it sounds like a different, cool idea. Even though I don't care about it, Banjo-Kazooie was announced for Super Smash Brothers, which apparently is a big deal.
It's a very big deal. I'm very excited about this.
Yeah.
But
Very excited.
But Cameron, sort of, what was your thoughts on some of the games that were announced, and what one are you most looking forward to?
For stuff that was announced, despite having not played the game, which is going to be on Sunday because I'm buying a Nintendo Switch on Sunday, they announced a sequel to Breath of the Wild now being in development, which, like, I've heard nothing but good things about the first Breath of the Wild, and the little teaser they got made no sense to me, but it looked really pretty. I'd also say Cyberpunk 2077 looks cool. Banjo being in Smash Bros. Is hyping me up majorly. And then just seeing new stuff from games that had already been announced, like Ultimate Alliance, Fire Emblem Three Houses, and Borderlands 3 specifically, I'm very excited about.
And Doug, sort of, what did you think of what was announced, and sort of what are you most looking forward to?
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to go and spend all my money on Switches and Xboxes because, like, I already have a PS4, and I'm super excited for a lot of stuff coming out. And yeah, games just stole my world. Cyberpunk 70. Can I speak? I'm just doing horrible. I'm gonna actually start with Halo.
You're so excited.
I'm so excited. I'm rambling. I can't speak. The Halo Infinite trailer that they dropped was ridiculous. Jedi Fallen Order, I already have that reserved. I've had it reserved since Celebration. Cyberpunk 2077, that Keanu Reeves reveal was phenomenal.
So good.
Them doing the Marvel's Avengers, I know why people are getting upset because it's kind of lackluster, I guess people feel, but I think it's going to be a fantastic game. It's Square Enix, and in Square Enix I trust, even though they have broken my heart several times, but they're finally remending my heart, but breaking it at the same time with my most anticipated, which is the remake for Final Fantasy VII. And even though it's coming in episodic formats, why am I scrolling down? Episodic formats, I cannot wait to actually hear the characters speak. I've been playing so much in my head that I get to actually see the cinematic views that they tried to display in 97 when I played that game for the first time, and I was just enamored with Final Fantasy from Super Nintendo. So that was my most anticipated, next to, like, Fallen Order, and I got both those games reserved, so I'm ready.
But Matt, what were your thoughts on E3, and was there any sort of games you were looking forward to?
You pretty much pointed out all the stuff that I cared about. Skywalker Saga looks amazing. From the trailer, it looks like they're finally going back to the pantomime way of doing Lego games, which you, Malcolm, have spoken about. I hate in the new Lego games that they talk. It's the most annoying thing in the world. I find it way more funnier when, like, they had to be like, like, how do you do? I am your father. Well, he holds up a picture of Anakin and Padme. Is like, see that guy? That's me. And that's you. Like, it's so fucking funny, and I love it so much. And yeah, and the Banjo-Kazooie being in Smash is awesome. I finally have a reason to get a Switch now, because there's Smash. There's going to be Skywalker Saga is going to be on Switch, and Mortal Kombat 11. So there's finally 3 games for me to buy a Switch for. So that's awesome.
Ultimate Alliance 3 as well.
I'm sorry?
Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3.
I've never played that game. So.
Oh.
Well, it's not out yet, so I couldn't, but I've never played any of the others. But No, but well, because I've always wanted a Switch, but the only game I would have ever gone for is Super Smash Bros. And I can't justify buying a system for one game.
That's fair.
That just is silly to me. So at least now there's 3 games, or 3 or 4. So awesome, good work. Also, Keanu Reeves is in a video game. I think we can all just appreciate 2019 being Keanu-sans.
Oh, absolutely.
Bask in it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Let's all just bask in it.
but yeah, Cyberpunk 2077 is on my list of games I'm looking forward to as well. And this is one that was really interesting with the announcement of Keanu Reeves, because from what I've sort of understood from the way the game is sort of looks like, it feels like it's a kind of a Matrixy style game.
So they're just typecasting Keanu. How
Well,
rude.
That's what I've found interesting, but I could be wrong.
Yeah,
It might not be anything to do related to the it's just that from the trailers, it just felt like that's the route they're going for the game.
From it. Yeah, no,
But,
I
yeah.
No, it looks cool.
And I mean, the Lego Star Wars game, I've always loved Lego games. I don't care if it's pantomime or voice. But and I mean, it's hard to tell from the trailer if it is going with that way, because even though they didn't have any voices, they just showed a few quick scenes, so we won't know until maybe next year.
We won't definitely know until we see some gameplay with cutscenes. Well, because in Lego Force Awakens and Jurassic World, even during the gameplay, you can hear him. So if we hear him talking that, I don't want it. But I'm just an old fart who likes the original Lego games. So
but yeah, and I like the fact that we're finally getting Last Jedi and Rise of the Skywalker in there as well. And even though it's going to be the main 9 movies, I do think we're probably going to either get DLC or they're going to have some side quests in which we unlock the characters from Rogue One and Solo and the animated Clone Wars possibly as well.
Well, the thing is, it's the Skywalker saga, though, is the thing that sort of makes me lean away from that idea.
What he's saying is, I think it'd be cool for there to be because in Lego Star Wars 3, there are a couple side. You can unlock characters from the movies in that game, so I think that would be cool if there was you could play as Jyn Erso and Han from Solo, or Chewie. I think that'd be cool. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, but another game that Joel will compare that with is the Lego Marvel Avengers game they brought out a while back. The main story arc in the game was the first 2 Avengers movies, but they had a bunch of side missions in which you played through some of the Dark World, some of Iron Man 3 and all that, and it's just one that.
Oh my god! I really need to play that. There is a level where you can play as Tony Stark dealing with PTSD in Lego form. That's awesome. What do? You have to rebuild his brain or something in the park?
Oh god! Oh god!
It's just you holding down the one build button for 3 hours.
Press A to not go into shock.
But yeah,
no,
so that's fun. The Marvel Avengers game looks great.
Welcome. That's fun.
Yeah.
But and the Marvel Avengers game for Square Enix does look really great. There's been a lot of backlash. A lot of people going oh, they don't look anything like the characters in the MCU. They're not supposed to. They look like Iron Man 4 or Captain America. It's their take on those characters. Yeah, I mean, not every Avengers game has to go use the MCU models.
But Malcolm, I only know the movies. I never read it.
It's called The Avengers, and there's movies called The Avengers, and they're the same thing. There are only one type of property called The Avengers.
And will always be movies. I don't know what paper things are with characters on them, okay?
I don't know how to read comic books. There's only one The Avengers.
But, I mean, I have to give props to Square Enix though, because when all this sort of comments were coming out, the Square Enix actually have said we're not changing the models. The models are what they are. So
Okay.
Thank God,
So this
because that
is-
would have been like 6 more years.
Go full
Yeah.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
I
Um,
just imagine the discuss. Have you guys ever seen the movie Mallrats?
Yes.
You know, scene when it's like TS and
Oh, what the magic
Africa,
photo?
and it's like, isn't the customer always right? Let me let you know, Tommy. The customer's always an asshole. That's what I assume the meeting at that game development was like. It was like, hey guys, everyone really hates the character designs for the Avengers. Fuck them. Okay? No, we're not going the way of Sonic the movie here, people.
Wait, because people gave backlash, now they're gonna include more DLC.
Characters gonna
There's gonna be DLC for character costumes and skins.
It's literally just face packs. Only face
pay
packs.
$40 to get the Chris Evans face.
but
You pay 25 to slightly change the position of the 6 like metal circles on Thor's chest plate.
Pay $200 to get Fat Thor from Endgame.
I would pay $200 to get Fat Thor.
I wouldn't
Pay
be surprised.
$300 to get him shirtless.
I wouldn't be surprised if that it legit is going to be a costume that they're going to include. But
Listen, all right, not to interrupt, but we mentioned Fat Thor. Did you guys see him cover Hurt?
No.
Oh my God! It is the greatest thing in the world. Chris Hemsworth literally in the Fat Thor costume, and he's literally playing the Johnny Cash version of Hurt, and it's so good. It's so good. It's like he's like, I'm in a super depression state. I gotta stay in that state. So what would Thor play? And he's like, I would play this. And they got it, and he was on Jimmy Kimmel. It was great. I was like, oh my God.
but I mean, Doug brought up DLC, and that's one thing I really like about the Square Enix's presentation is when they were talking about the Avengers game, they said that like any add additions to the game is going to be completely free. There's going to be no loot boxes, no pay to buy Thor's white arm, but and for me that's a really big plus. Is like you can unlock characters without sort of having to go through loops of getting loot boxes and all that, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm curious to find out the exclusive content they mentioned for PS4 will be, because they did mention that the PlayStation side of things is going to get like the early beta, but they also said there's going to be some other exclusive surprises that thing, which I think could mean that.
Xbox.
Was that Matt?
Why does everyone hate Xbox? Why?
Oh, I mean, a lot of companies do that. There's I know Ubisoft have done it a lot for the Assassin's Creed, in which the PlayStation side of things get an exclusive mission or two. But I think that I think one of the things for PlayStation might be something to do with SpiderMan, with the fact that SpiderMan
Please give me that. Please
Yeah.
give me PS4 Spider-Man.
Because there's rumors they're going to be put in the same universe.
Yeah, I mean, there is the rumors that they take place in the same universe, which I'm not too sold on, because they're two. It's two different companies, because it's Insomniac did the Spider-Man game, but yet Square Enix Crystal Dynamics is doing the.
We just get like, I don't care if it's an exclusive on PS, Xbox, wherever, but it's a Spider-Man DLC, and you go back to the '60s, and the whole DLC is just pointing back and forth to the other Spider-Man standing in front of you. The whole thing.
Into the Spider-Verse reference.
Dude, I'm sorry, that's one of the greatest etchings. Stop pointing me. Hey, you pointed at me first.
No, you pointed first.
You pointed first. And they got
pointed first. Well, Spider-Man pointed first.
Yeah, and I mean, and I think going back to the graphics for there, I think a lot of people are forgetting that that might be tidied up a little bit by next year because it's only early footage, so they're probably still tweaking on the graphics. They wanted to get something to show people what the game looks like. So
They said
Yeah, 'cause
something
this comes.
about that, like a release. They said that it's going to be fine tuned, but they're not changing the
yeah,
camera.
Well, it doesn't come out for 11 months. Like,
I was about to say
exactly.
it doesn't come
you
out.
still have
Final Fantasy.
so much work to do, specifically in the graphic look of the game.
Game that doesn't come out for 11 months. Their demo did not show a finished product. What the fuck are you talking about, man? That's insane.
I mean,
The scenes in the trailer that weren't in the movie, that's new for Marvel.
yeah, I mean, it's as if people are expecting Endgame 11 months before it comes out.
Sorry, what did you say, Malcolm?
Well,
You said.
it was a joke that kind of fell flat, but
I know all about that.
but anyway, we're going to move on. And because I was going to do this last week, but I got really busy last week and all that, so I didn't do it. Why not talk about the X-Men as well? Now we are going to talk about Dark Phoenix later on, and we're going to go into spoilers. So if you haven't seen it and care about spoilers for a movie that you may not be excited for, then we will let you know when we're going to start doing that. But like first, might as well talk about just the X-Men franchise in general. So, how have you felt about the X-Men movies so far, Matt? I'll start with you.
X-Men movies, they're interesting when you look at them in the big scheme of comic book movies. They're, at least the first one is a very important film, and of course, it came out in that time of Blade and the first Spider-Man movie where comic book movies were kind of changing, and those were sort of the three that sort of post, even though Blade came out before, but like kind of post Batman and Robin, like the spawns to where it was like, this is kind of where we're moving. And then of course X2 came out, and by that point comic book movies have been very established. I've always really enjoyed the series. A lot more entries than others. But on the whole, I think they're all pretty solid. I think they definitely have some of the best casting in comic book movies we've ever seen. And they've also led to, I think, the effect of the movies on the other X-Men projects can't go unnoticed. Because, like, I think the comics got a huge boost because of them. And then, like, shows and games and all those things, probably, even if they aren't based on the movies, the movies were just so popular and they were so just ingrained in people's minds that they made them. It kind of stinks that the last couple of entries haven't been amazing. They haven't been amazing, but Logan was a beautiful film, so they always have that going for them.
And Doug, how have you felt about the X-Men movies, like up to this point?
I mean, I remember seeing the first X-Men in theaters. I'm gonna date myself here. That's right. I'm gonna date myself. I'm gonna take myself to the movies.
I take myself on dates to the movies all the time, man. It's okay.
I do. I got AMC A-list, man. Let's go.
Because I'm poor.
I don't, because I'm Canadian.
These films have kind of been a great way to start the modern age of comics, comic book movies. Of course, you have 89 Batman, you have Superman, you have Blade, but eventually those got too campy. Blade just fell flat in its third film. But X-Men kind of, with the first two films, they brought something that, wasn't seen. They brought a realism to these people that were X-Men. They were mutants. Although I am in the same camp that there's never actually been a X-Men movie. there's been a mutant movie and movies about mutants. But there's never been an actual X-Men team-led X-Men movie. But Logan, Deadpool, Deadpool 2, X2, Days of Future Past, and First Class were ridiculously good. You of course gotta give love to X-Men itself, the original. But those movies definitely paved the way for what we are now in the full golden age of comic book movies. So you got to give it up to them for something.
Yeah. And I mean, I'd probably argue that First Class probably came the closest to a true X-Men sort of team-up movie.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, there's even sprinkles and parts of it in this movie. When we get into spoilers, I'll talk about it. But there you get some X-Men, being a team and X-Men together in this movie as well. That you don't get in a lot of other movies, because if you think about it, X1 is a Rogue and Wolverine movie. X2 is a Rogue, Wolverine, and Jean movie. X3 is a Wolverine and Jean movie with dashes of Rogue. All the other characters are side characters. First Class is a Charles Xavier and a Magneto movie, more so on the Magneto end, because they wanted to give us a Magneto origin movie originally, and then we got First Class, which I was much happier with. Days of Future Past was a Wolverine movie, a Magneto movie, Charles Xavier movie. It's never been about the team. It's been about certain mutants. So I'm really excited for what the MCU will do, because I think Kevin Feige understands what we actually want, which is an actual X-Men movie. We want Cyclops being Cyclops, but as a part of the team. We want Wolverine being Wolverine, but as a part of the team.
Do we want another Wolverine? That's a great question. It's a good question, West.
And Cameron, how have you felt about the X-Men franchise? So
the first X-Men movie was released onto this world before I was.
Okay, this is the first time I think I've ever been able to say this on the show. I feel old now.
Yeah, no. The first
feel
X-Men movie
old.
came out a week and a half before I was born. Yeah, no, I'm young.
Okay, you know what? That actually doesn't make me feel that bad, because like when you say before, I'm like, this is kid born like 05 or something.
No, I'm only 18, dude. I would say I like most of the X-Men movies. I think not all of them are like really great. Most of them are solid, but some of them are real bad and they hit real low. Like, I love Logan. Logan is one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time, not just superhero movies. And it's my favorite superhero movie of all time. I think it's brilliant. I think it's amazing. I went and saw it opening night in the theater, which was technically a crime because I was a minor at the time and didn't have parental supervision.
If you were, oh no, you wouldn't have been 17 even. No, yeah, it was.
No, I was 16 years old.
No, it was 2017.
Yeah, it was 2017, and I was only 16 years old.
He was 16 and went to the midnight of an R-rated movie. Nope, yeah, you shouldn't have been there. Shouldn't have been there.
I shouldn't, but I don't regret my decision. It's very good. I even prefer the noir cut of Logan. Watching Logan noir in black and white enhances that experience greatly for me. I think Days of Future Past is amazing, as is First Class. And they set a really good base for the new X-Men movie, specifically with the younger cast. I have not finished watching Apocalypse. I tried watching it and I fell asleep. I literally fell asleep in the middle of the Quicksilver scene happened, and within the next 5 minutes of that scene ending, I was unconscious. And I was watching it on a plane. I like Deadpool and Deadpool 2. I like Deadpool 2 a fair amount more than the first Deadpool.
Yeah, those are
First 2/3 of the Wolverine are fine, and then once you get past there, you're meh. X2 is also good. Forgot to mention that one. And then the first X-Men, Apocalypse, Last Stand, and the travesty that is X-Men Origins Wolverine are all meh. I
Doug,
haven't
you
seen.
think that's a hot take on Deadpool movies? I haven't seen the second one. I think the first one is overrated.
I would agree.
What?
It's not that
What?
funny. Like,
Listen, you get Deadpool, which was a character that was not supposed to be ever on film after they destroyed him in X-Men.
well, never hot take. I've never loved Deadpool in the comics either. Never.
If you want a good Pool character, bring us Gwenpool in the movies.
But she is literally the identical character to Deadpool. She's literally
Deadpool, but she's
female.
just more fun.
She's the female version of Deadpool. No, you don't get
She's
more fun
fun,
than her
happy
fucking
Deadpool.
unicorn. You don't get
I love
more
the face
fun
I
than
put
her.
down here.
You don't get
Popcorn.
you don't get a better you don't get a better Deadpool. I was about to say popcorn. Then
X-Men Origins, you got that right. Man. They showed it down.
The only thing better than Deadpool in X-Men Origins is Gambit, played by Taylor Kitsch.
Oh, best. I'm sorry.
Dave.
Let me go for the castings and comic book movies. Okay, here you go. You got like Keaton, you got Reeve, you got fucking Gambit. It's like they were making a documentary. And then Channing Tatum is right above him in the movie that I swear to God will come out one day.
Just like New Mutants.
Yes.
You keep hoping.
I want New Mutants. I want it really bad.
Can I say?
I want New Mutants to happen.
I feel. Can you imagine when he got cast as Gambit? Comic book movies are fucking huge, and you think he's like, yes, and the X-Men franchise is huge. To just be at this point to be like, I am never being a fucking superhero ever, am I?
Well, he played a hero. He played one.
I mean, I'm pretty.
He was in Kingsman.
He played Superman in a Lego movie. That's true.
That's true.
And he was pretty good in Lego Movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked him. I thought he was lit. I thought it was so funny watching Lego Movie after seeing the Jump Street movies to see him like be like, "Leave me alone, Jonah Hill."
So good.
One of these days, I might watch the Jump Street movies, but
Malcolm, you gotta watch them. They're so good.
You gotta watch them.
Oh, here again.
Just the credits of 22 Jump Street alone are some of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Listen, just the scene in 22 Jump Street with the commissioner. That scene alone. That scene.
It's Ice Cube's intro. It's Ice Cube's intro when he walks and he's like, angry black captain. Nothing but stereotype. So I'm black. Suck a dick. Sometimes get a little angry. Clean it the fuck up.
Hey, leave Korean jerseys alone. He don't want your problems. He's got his own.
And then in the second one, it's Vietnamese Jesus.
Dude, and then when he's like,
My favorite thing is like every movie they move across the street.
oh yeah,
At 22 Jump Street instead.
over there. You guys are going somewhere where the sex is crazy, drugs are rapid. Oh man, I love Disney World.
So good.
We're ruining the movie, but go see them. They're amazing.
but yeah, that brings me on to another point I was going to bring up. Now that the next time we see X-Men will be in the MCU, do you have any sort of dream castings that you want to see happen with any of the X-Men characters? I'll start with you, Cameron.
That's a good question. There's a lot of names being tossed around for Wolverine, and if I'm being honest, because of how big of an impact Hugh Jackman had as Wolverine, I think MCU might be best if they don't necessarily bring Wolverine into the MCU and just leave the Hugh Jackman portrayal as its own. If they do bring him in, the couple names I've heard thrown around that I would be really happy with are I think Tom Hardy would be a really good choice, and he's Hugh Jackman's, I believe, personal pick. People have been throwing up Keanu Reeves recently, and I really want to see that. Although I also really want to see him as a Silver Surfer now that they have Fantastic Four.
Whoa.
Whoa. Who else is even in the X-Men? Leave Mystique behind now that Jennifer Lawrence is done with her. I don't care. Charles Xavier. I don't know who's old and bald.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
No, Bruce Willis doesn't care.
Stone Cold Steve Austin's old and bald.
The Rock is Professor X.
Yeah.
John Cena with his head shaved.
My name is Professor X. And then he can use his power of invisibility, so you literally can't see him.
I mean, now I'm just trying to imagine Stone Cold Steve Austin as Professor
I've seen it
X.
already.
Wait, can I go on a slight tangent about the You Can't See Me thing? Okay, so I did theater in high school, and I was in a production of Beauty and the Beast where I played the Beast, and at the end we're doing like the final fight, and this is on stage for our show for like critics who have come to see our show, and we're doing the fight. The guy who plays Gaston like does the stab. I fall to the ground, and then legitimately on stage in front of an audience of hundreds of people in Beauty and the Beast, the actor playing Gaston leans down over my dying body, does this, and then continues acting in the scene.
I always knew Gaston was my favorite Disney villain. That just makes it even more.
So also, like, with the character of Gaston, this kind of fits. If there's any Disney villain who can do it.
In that X-Men movie where John Cena plays Professor X, be like a weird existential thing to where like none of the mutants have powers, and so it's just like, I'm invisible, and they're like, oh no, he's having another episode. He thinks he has powers or some shit. Can we get him home? You're right. Oh no, where'd Charles go? We're pushing an empty wheelchair. Oh yeah, you
literally just pitched a movie. You pitched a movie, and it's a movie I want to see now.
It's like,
Canadian come up and be like, hey, bub, I'm going to stab him with my knives. Oh, yeah, I bet you are. Oh, Logan, no, don't stab me.
Logan, don't you do it. I'm Wolverine.
Tatum, I swear to God, I'm a Cajun. Yeah, you are. You're Cajun. Oh, I can hear the accent right here.
We get it, Cyclops. You can shoot lasers from your eyes. They're not lasers. They're portals to another dimension.
I swear to God, I'm dating the chick from Game of Thrones. Who? Amelia Clark? No, the other one. All right. Whatever you say.
But anyway, Doug, do you have any sort of dream? But anyway, Doug, do you have any sort of dream MCU X-Men castings?
I actually, I know that they're going to cast Wolverine. They're going to recast them. And Travis Fimmel from Vikings is actually one of my top picks for him. I don't think they'll get Tom Hardy because Tom Hardy's technically already in the MCU. The MCU adjacent, but they're pretty much SpiderMan's already in the world. Venom's in the world. They're just going to wait to collaborate them together, but they'll do it.
That's a good point.
For like, it's so hard because I think they should just literally toss a boatload of money at Fassbender and McAvoy and have them back because their chemistry as Magneto and Charles is on par with Ian and Patrick. And I think I think they should just do that and then recast the other mutants around them. But I don't have anybody in mind because it's going to be a complete surprise to us. The only person that I really actually took time to think about was Wolverine because Wolverine's one of my favorite characters. And it's like, who could play him? Who's got that? And I just finished up watching Vikings. And what he did in Warcraft actually was pretty good. He was one of the saving graces of Warcraft for me. So I think he's got a real shot if they decide to do that. So, but yeah, I'm excited to see it in the MCU.
Yeah. And Matt, do you have any sort of dream X-Men castings for the MCU?
I mean, like, I remember when there was a question about the Wolverine solo movie, and that was going to take place in the future, and they were thinking about who would you recast as like an older Wolverine and everything. Remember back then, I said, I still think this now. Just keeping with the Australian thing, I think Gibson could be a really cool Wolverine, like an older man Wolverine. But I don't want Wolverine, honestly. I just think Hugh Jackman did the character so well. I think Wolverine is different than your Batmans, your Supermans, where and I know in years down the line, of course, you will recast him because he is a very popular character and he is very important to the X-Men universe. But I think first movie out the gate, don't recast him. Just let us all. And I know it's been a number of years now since Logan, but just for what Hugh Jackman did and just how still and green that character is, I think at number one, just let him sit and also let some of the other great X-Men characters kind of have their moment to shine without it being the Wolverine show. Beyond that, I don't really know. Like I like the X-Men, but I'm not like connected to that franchise to where like I love Cyclops so much that I think only this person can play it. As in, if you can have a great person bring something great to the I'm more concerned about who's writing and directing these movies before who's starring them. That's just me. If we have a great director on board and everything, then I'm like, yeah, because I remember it. That's all I wanted.
So-
Just get
so
great writers, great
question.
directors, and then if you have and then I can think about who would work well with that director to play whatever character is going to be in that. Because there's years of X-Men characters. There's billions of X-Men characters that you could do a whole movie on. I want a movie where Cyclops is the lead because he's actually, in the comics, more of a lead than Wolverine is. If you actually read the comics, and he's a really interesting character, his relationship with Jean is really interesting, but they just never give a shit about Cyclops in the movies. And even the newer ones, he still is kind of just like off to the side. Like, you have this great character with so many great stories, and you're just like, all right, we're going to knock you out for most of this movie, and then when you do come back, you're going to be evil for a little bit.
Yeah.
So the question is,
and he's reduced to stupid things like, because I mean, even though it's a fun line with the Wolverine just going your dick to Cyclops and just all that, so I can't remember that scene, but anyway,
there's multiple scenes to where he's just like, hey Wolverine, yeah, you're a dick.
but
So I came up with a couple ideas while y'all were talking. Okay. So for I have 5. For Jean Grey, I put down Florence Pugh. I don't know how to pronounce it, from Fighting with My Family.
I know.
I think if we want to do younger cast again, I think she would be a really good choice for that. I think she was fantastic in that movie. And I think for Wolverine, one that just came to me is another movie from this year. If you guys saw it, you probably didn't because hardly anyone has seen it. The Mustang.
No,
at Matthias Schoenaerts, like, he has such like a held back rage that like the entire movie he looks like he's about ready to like explode and just go crazy on someone, but he also has like incredible like emotional moments, and it was phenomenal. For Nightcrawler, Rami Malek. I think he does the sort of like strange outsider really well. He's really good at playing like kind of the awkward shy guy, but he can also have like a personality that gels in well with other people. Cyclops, Taron Egerton. again, if we're kind of going younger, he's great. He's a decent age for it, and he's good at everything. And he can kind of give off that like suave, cool guy vibe, but he can also definitely give off that vibe of being like a dick, being a jerk. And then for Angel, I put Blake Jenner, who, if you saw American Animals, or he was in Everybody Wants Some, he was in The Edge of 17. He was on Glee for 2 seasons. I think he's fantastic, and he also sort of fits like the blonde, pretty boy, but with a lot more to him than that.
Yeah.
I mean, I could definitely get down to that casting if it happens. I mean, I don't know much about I don't know much about you, Wolverine.
Hit me up.
No, it's cool. I just would.
I am available.
Personal thing. I would hope that they don't go younger. I would hope that they would go to that late 20s, early 30s kind of age that like the 80s comics were, because again, like with characters like Jean and Cyclops and everything, those stories, they need to kind of have life experience to really have those great, and they not just life experience of like age, but also life experience of being mutants and what that's been like growing up and everything. Because that's what makes the X-Men great, is that they're the one comic book kind of group to where it's not fun to have powers, to where it kind of sucks, because in society they're like, fuck you, and growing up with that and what that means, and then having to, and that's what makes Magneto such a great villain, is because he's like, yeah, I want to just get all those fuckers out of here. Don't you want to join me? Don't you hate trying to go to the store and these people are just assholes to you? That's the interesting dynamic of Magneto. Is like, he's not wrong. People are dicks to people who are different. He's not mistaken about that.
Yeah, and
Christoph Waltz as Magneto.
That's good.
That'd be an interesting one.
That's good.
but
who do you have? Oh, but now you got to think who could play Xavier to go head to head with him. Let's get DiCaprio and shave his head. Let's do it. He won the Oscar. Oh my God, Tom Cruise is all the X-Men.
Wes Grossman is Beast.
I mean, I like if they do cast Tom Cruise as Xavier, I could probably get down with that. Actually, because I mean, yes, like he might want to do something which he can do a lot of actiony stuff, but in saying that, depending on sort of
Malcolm, I just want to see that meeting. Okay, so Tom, it's great that you came to meet us here. This is Kevin Feige. Okay, this is great. I'm glad you're here, Tom. I'm glad you expressed interest. So we want you to play Charles Xavier. Okay, it's awesome. What's the character? So he has mental powers. It's cool. I love my brain. My brain is my greatest muscle. All right. He's also wheelchair bound. What if this? What if he's not? Well, we kind of already did that in one of the movies earlier. No. Get it? I understand he's wheelchair bound, but what if I wasn't? Okay? Because I'm not in a wheelchair. No, Tom, we know you're not in a wheelchair. No, you don't get it. Xavier's in a wheelchair either. Did you see Top Gun? Tom, I don't know why you're referencing. Yes, I saw Top Gun. Imagine the discussion I have. Also, I don't want to be bald. Get the fuck from.
It's in my contract. You have to make me look tall. Sitting is short.
but
I have to put my wheelchair on apple crates.
Sitting is short. I'm 6 foot. Tom, you're not 6'4". Hey, ask Renee Zellweger. She was shorter than me. Everyone saw Jerry Maguire. Tom, why do you keep referencing your older films? I don't know. Tropic Thunder. Isn't I greater than that?
I was in Mission Impossible 2, specifically.
Do you remember my hair in Mission Impossible 2? Wasn't it amazing? Yeah, well, I mean, it was, Tom.
I was in the greatest horror movie of all time called The Mummy. It came out in 2017. You probably didn't watch it.
I was a vampire, okay? And I was interviewed by a chick from SpiderMan, okay? But that was before SpiderMan. Do you remember that? I made Brad Pitt. And I'm not talking about just his career. I mean, I literally Darth Plagueis that shit, okay? Did you see Star Wars? I wasn't in it, but it was rumored to be.
I was Jack. What do you mean you don't know who Jack Reacher is?
I never go back. What I do is but I never go back. Okay.
But anyway, for me, I do hope that because we're not going to see them in the MCU for a while anyway. But I do hope that when they bring it in, they stick to sort of more to what the comics was, and that in which they don't have Wolverine as there from the get go, because in the comics, Wolverine was not one of the original members of the X-Men. He came in later on.
About that, and even when he was introduced, he was just like, all right, he's just a part of the team now. It wasn't like, oh, now he's the main character of everything.
Yeah, and I mean,
sorry, Malcolm.
But I do think Keanu Reeves is an interesting pick. But yeah, I mean, I don't have a lot of picks in my head as well. I'm just trying to figure out something off the top of my head. But Blake Jenner is an interesting one. I could actually see him as Cyclops as well. Because it actually, the other one I wouldn't mind seeing is Cyclops is Grant Gustin from The Flash, because I really hope that when they do eventually bring the X-Men into the MCU, they do have Cyclops as the leader type figure, and if they go with that, Grant Gustin showed he can project leadership sort of there.
Yeah.
So basically, what you're saying is we just get the cast of Glee and cast them as the X-Men.
Why not?
Blake Jenner on Glee, Grant Gustin on Glee. Let's do it. All right, Matthew Moore. You know what? Jane Lynch as Professor X.
Jane Lynch as, oh my god, Jane Lynch as Professor X.
I mean, better yet, let's do X-Men the musical.
Yeah. I'm down. Let's get Alan Menken on this. Let's do it.
Oh my god! And wait, no, that's the perfect way to bring back Jackman as Wolverine.
We did it.
My casting for I'm sorry.
You just steal Sweeney Todd, and you're just like, my friends, my wonderful friends.
See, I thought way more about the casting for Fantastic Four than I have X-Men, because I love the Fantastic Four way more.
I really hope they nail it.
I have my dream Fantastic Four cast would be Clooney as Mr. Fantastic. I think he would be perfect for that role, especially at his age. Blunt as Invisible Woman. I actually think Zac Efron as Human Torch would be amazing, and then The Rock as Thing. Because you just need to paint them orange. Just need to go old school Incredible Hulk there.
Only practical effects.
You can't go.
No CGI.
No.
Yo, Lou Ferrigno, man. Do it.
I cannot go back to those days.
Dude, I'm just
I actually have Emily Blunt as my as Sue as well, but I have her leading man in real life as Mr. Fantastic. I think he would kill the role. I think he would add something that a lot of people don't realize that you needed to add. You know, with Mr.
But that's why I go Clooney, because I think the thing that makes Mr. Fantastic great is that he is the metaphorical father of the group, and I just think Clooney just projects that in a lot of the stuff he does, even when he's not playing dad. Like, he has that just like, I care about you guys, and especially since in the comics and so many interpretations, he feels responsible for doing this to his family. And not that Krasinski could totally play it. I just think Clooney, just like, like what he did in Descendants, where he just feels like what happened to his wife was his fault. Like, he could just bring that to Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, the only problem I have with Clooney is we've seen, and I know this is a bad thing because you want to blame it on script, but we've seen what he can do with a superhero.
But that was also 20 years ago.
Granted, but I mean, I don't know. There's just something, I don't know. I wouldn't buy George Clooney
Also, going off of that, we've also seen what Ryan Reynolds could do with two different superheroes.
Listen, first of all, Ryan Reynolds was made to be Deadpool. There is no he was made to be
And what
He was also made to be Pikachu.
Yes. Well, no. He was not made to be Pikachu. He was just the voice of the father in Pikachu.
I'm sorry. I still remember when that got announced as a Pikachu. I wanted them to pay Ryan Reynolds to just say Pika Pika for the whole film. I didn't want there to be dialogue.
Oh my god!
Ryan Reynolds, it's on this show. I said it on the show when that casting got announced. Like, I hope he just says Pika Pika. Like that's the whole face. He just says Pika Pika. And like Ryan Reynolds is Pikachu. And it's just like the whole movie. Pika Pika, Pikachu, Pika Pika, Pikachu. And you're like, oh, you can talk. Nope, that's it. God damn. Okay.
No, we're not.
But yeah, I mean, I think like if Feige listens to the fan castings, I think Krasinski and Emily Blunt are probably the two front runners for Mr. Fantastic and the Invisible Woman.
And they're amazing choices.
John Krasinski said that he wants to play a hero, and if he played any hero, he wants to play Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah,
but I love John Krasinski. He's my favorite Jack Ryan now after the show. I think he would be so good. It'd be really interesting to see Mr. Fantastic be shredded. Just because, but I'd be totally for it, especially if him and Emily Blunt are working together again.
Their chemistry on screen is just phenomenal.
Yeah, I love Fantastic Four. It's my favorite. Next to Spider-Man, it's my favorite comic book series out of Marvel. Doctor Doom is my favorite Marvel villain. And that's why it's upset me so much that there's so many great things to pull from, and they fucked it up every time. When the Roger Corman movie is the best Fantastic Four movie we had, studios are doing something wrong.
Listen, Doom should never be the first villain.
No.
He should be the overarching villain.
You do Namor first.
Establish Reed Richards.
You don't do Namor first. You know the first villain you do? You do the Mole Man. You do the Mole Man.
No,
That's like two comics.
The thing is with Doom is Reed Richards needs to be an established character to introduce Doom because that relationship is
properly.
You need to have Reed Richards be an established character for you to understand him to bring in Doom. Because the great thing about Doom is he's an interesting character on his own, but when you add that relationship with Reed Richards, it's so much better.
Yeah. To properly do Doom, you either have to bring him in after you bring the rest of the Fantastic Four, or which will never happen, you do a Doom solo movie and then bring him.
Never do. To do a movie like
you
just power like. Pretty much the comic book version of Alexander the Great, where he just goes on tears, killing people, building Liberia. Like they're never gonna do that movie ever.
Yeah,
I want them to.
I would too, man. Again,
every time we wanted something, it kind of gets thrown in our face really, really badly. There's been very few that I've been actually really happy with what they've done. I was so happy that they didn't do Infinity War, how Infinity War was going to be, what the comic was. I actually like the way they did it. And in Feige we trust, man. That's all I got to say, because he hasn't let me down. Even with Thor the Dark World, that has some points that are watchable. It really does. It has value. Endgame added value to that fucking movie, which I didn't think was possible. And it's just when we come down to it, I think Feige knows what everybody's gonna like, believe it or not. And I think when it comes to the casting for the X-Men, I think we just gotta wait and see. It's gonna be 5 to 10 years before we get the X-Men movie. So,
yeah.
But yeah, and because I know Matt was talking about how George Clooney has been showing sort of fatherly sides in movies. I think what John Krasinski did in A Quiet Place is just that same
Yeah.
kind of fathering as that can work. But yeah.
You know, I
Sorry.
would say
Oh yeah, go ahead.
for me, I'm very much on the Krasinski Blunt train. Like, obviously, they already have the chemistry that you need between a Mr. Fantastic and a Sue Storm, as well. Like you said, John Krasinski has like that dad, that leader sort of aspect to him, and like he has the charisma, he has the skill to do it, and like I think he's a great choice. And then Emily Blunt also as well, I think is a really good choice for the Invisible Woman, not just for how she can work with John Krasinski, but also with just her personal ability. Choice that I've had for a while in terms of the Human Torch is actually a different actor who was in 17 again, because Matt said Zac Efron. I'm picking, his name is Hunter Parrish, who probably isn't super well known. He was in 17 again, he was in Still Alice, and then probably his most well-known roles are actually he's a Broadway actor who was in Spring Awakening and Godspell, and he played like leading roles in those. And then he was also on the show Quantico, and he's fantastic. He's like, I think late 20s to early 30s, like young guy, and can play like the super nice, down to earth person, but can also be an absolute like complete dick, complete asshole. Like he plays the school bully in 17 again, and I think he's fantastic and would be a great choice. And then I would even like this is my personal take that gets like way off of where everyone else is. I think doing the Thing, who is kind of like the like older than the rest of the group, where because like having like three people who are all slightly older than the Human Torch has like you have that one sort of guiding voice, and so you just have Reed, who de facto becomes the leader at all times. And so I've been on the train of what if we had Lawrence Fishburne as the Thing. I think it would be really cool if we want to go older Lawrence Fishburne as the Thing. It can bring a new dynamic to him instead of just being the way they've always cast him, which is like he's the big dumb guy who was friends with Reed and got kind of just brought along. And whereas if you do this, you kind of make the Thing his own person and define him by his skills and not just the fact that he knows Reed.
I just can't see Lawrence Fishburne now. Giant rock muscly thing. But
I mean,
no, it's cool.
He's a real cool dude in the John Wick movies. He feeds birds.
Seen the John Wick movies, but I mean, it's an interesting direction, I guess. It's an interesting direction to take it. I personally just loving the character so much. I mean, one of the best comic books of all time is This Man, This Monster, about the Thing. That I think like leaving, because that's also kind of a part of the story, is like he wasn't a scientist. He was Reed's friend. He was a pilot. That's why he was there. And so there's that guilt on Reed's part of like, listen, like Stu and Johnny and us, we're all scientists and stuff. I made Ben come. I made my friend come, and I fucked his life up way more than any of the others. Because he can't go out in public now. Like, I fucked my best friend's life up.
Yeah.
Which has always been the nice thing about that.
My issue has always been cast chemistry. And that's why I lean towards John Krasinski and Emily Blunt. But here's the thing. We could be all wrong because they could be great with each other, but they're not good with Johnny and they're not good with Ben. I need that family chemistry.
Krasinski is shown with The Office. He's able to work with a big ensemble and be really good. So Krasinski, we already know, can work.
He's Captain Charisma.
He can already.
That's the whole thing that you need with Reed as well. Reed is actually, while he's very much a scientist and a nerd and very kind of
he got Susan Storm.
He's so charismatic. It's crazy.
I'm sorry.
Exactly,
that's what I say to people. He got Susan Storm, guys. Okay. He ain't some nerdy scientist, okay? He's a pretty cool guy. I say, there's literally one of the first rankums I was ever on. It's top 12 Marvel characters. And I got Mr. Fantastic on there because he's one of my favorite Marvel characters.
Listen, could you imagine John Krasinski versing himself with the band Reed.
Dude, you're so like I still want Clooney, but you are selling me on Krasinski being
Like,
fantastic.
could you imagine that? That'd be so good.
Oh, dude, it would
so
literally
good.
be like the scene from Star Trek 6 when there's the two Kirks.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, great.
Which is Tom Hardy, by the way. Which, if he wasn't Venom, he would be my pick for Ben.
Oh, 100%. If he wasn't
if he wasn't
100%.
Venom, back the truckload up because he can play. He can. All right. A lot of
Dude,
people are
he
giving
can.
him
I'm
flack
sorry.
now,
He
but
can be
play.
funny, but you look at him in movies like Warrior and in Inception. He works great in a crew. Warrior, he can play. He has a lot of great dramatic like anger in him, but he's also like really funny in like interviews and stuff. Like he would. Oh my! I don't. Can we forget about Venom? Fuck Venom, and let's just say
Can we
he's
just
Ben
make
Grimm.
him-
Like I'm sorry, that movie wasn't even good. So could we just all forget about it and just
Movie
make
wasn't good.
him,
Still made more than Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
can we
yeah.
just make him Ben Grimm, because that would be such perfect casting.
I mean, to be fair, unless they completely say that Venom is in the MCU,
And we can still get Tom Hardy.
yeah. I mean, as of yet, I don't think that's officially confirmed. There's still a lot of people going, "Oh, it could happen."
Kevin, if you're watching this, don't make it official so that we can get Tom Hardy as Ben
We'll
Grimm.
find out. We'll find out in Far From Home, because in Far From Home, I think they allude to a Venom.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, well,
for
if
sure.
they
If
allude,
Venom's going to be in 3,
it
they're going
depends
to
on how
tease
they
him in the post
allude.
credits.
It depends on how they allude to Venom. If they allude to Venom, the symbiote and all that, if they allude to, well, there was this incident in the city with this guy, then
Listen,
kind of.
I still am not like. I thought it was okay. I thought the Venom movie was okay. I'm still of the mind that I want Secret Wars. I want him to get the suit the proper way. I want Venom to come into the world the proper way, and I've yet to get it. And I'm like an Uber fan with Venom, and it's like I'm just like Deadpool.
Well, this is the problem. I think the only thing besides the comics that has ever done the symbiote suit the correct way has been Spectacular Spider-Man. Because the thing about it is the suit, when he first gets it, it gives him new powers. It's great. It helps him out. It's only until later that you start to see the effects that Peter starts to. And in the comics and in that show, they introduce it gradually to where he gets a little bit more ticked off more than he normally would and all these things. And then ultimately you go, oh shit, it's because the suit has made him and everything. And that's a great thing about it.
They do it in the animated series too, pretty well.
Oh, yeah, the animated series. I like Spectacular Spider-Man more because I like the fact that both of them are good. I just like Spectacular Spider-Man as a Spider-Man series, but they both did the same thing great, which is when he first gets the suit, he can't be angry and an asshole right off the bat. He has to be normal. It's just he feels this power, and it kind of helps him out more. And he's like, "Oh, this is great. This is helping me." It's then later on that you realize you see these things to where you're like, oh shit.
You see that it's an actual symbiote, and it's starting to be a parasite on his brain.
He's like, oh no, dude! Like that scene when he's at the hospital. Spectacular Spider-Man and all his friends are like, we're just trying to help you. He's like, oh, you want to help me? Why don't you take pictures of Spider-Man? And then one of the friends goes to grab him, and the shirt is the symbiote, and it like reforms itself. Oh my god, it's so great. It's so great.
Yeah, no, I really want
look at that shit and just make it in a movie. But that's the other problem of a 2-hour movie and a TV show that can have X amount of episodes. That's also why maybe you could introduce it in Secret Wars and then not have to have Venom at the end of the movie. I know, crazy.
Oh my god, crazy thoughts.
No, crazy idea.
Oh no, we're having crazy thoughts.
But
No, but I completely agree.
That, like,
and side note into Dark Phoenix, the reason that Dark Phoenix doesn't work is because we do it in 3 fucking movies. In 3 movies. In two.
Yeah.
In both, actually. I'm sorry, in both. It happened in X2 in The Last Stand, and it happened in
Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix.
and Dark Phoenix. You can't do that. You need to build these characters, and I think Feige understands that best because you need to build these characters. You need to build them as a team. Slowly introduce. Oh, where'd Malcolm go?
So Malcolm said that his computer is playing up and frozen. He needs to restart, so I should just wrap up the show because by the time he gets back, it's going to close. The stream's just gonna end. So, Doug, where can the good people find you online? Thank you for being on Late Night with Take 3.
Yeah, no, it was awesome being here, guys. You can find me at all the Battleground stuff that we got going on. We got Nerd Fights, we got Game Zone, and those are going to be amazing. And then find me over at all the fan leagues, showing my lack of knowledge there.
Cameron, where can the good people find you on the interwebs? And thank you for being on the show.
No problem. Happy to be here. You can find me generally around, typically in like the comments and in the live chats on Take 3 and Full Metal and all the other fan league stuff. Pretty soon I've got a match from There Will Be Trivia coming up where I played off against Caleb Coho and Kirk Kowski. I'm hoping I pronounce his last name right. I'm not sure. If you want to see my takes on some movies, follow me on Instagram at Cam's Movie Reviews. That's just CAMS Movie Reviews. I try and post as much as I can. It's been a little while, but I'm hoping to get back into that. And I'm in talks with Malcolm and some other people to set up both a Rankum and a Full Metal Random match based around Glee, and I'm very excited for it.
And you guys can find our host for this evening, Malcolm, on Twitter at Malcor. He also hosts Rankum, which airs this Sunday. I totally forget what the Rankum is going to be this week, but the show's great.
Movies.
I believe it might be characters. No, I'm not sure. Movies or characters. Regardless, it's gonna be great. It's Rankum. It's great. I'm usually there. I don't think I'm there this Sunday. And you guys can always find me at Kearns_Matthew on Twitter, MattMovie611 on YouTube and WordPress, and you can find me right here hosting Second Look. I swear to you, the Moneyball episode is coming. I've had a very busy time recently, and I want to get you guys the best episode I possibly can out. And you can always, as always, follow Take 3 on Twitter at Take3Video. At Twake. It is Pixar Movies, Malcolm. Just for me, Pixar Movies. And you can always follow Take 3 on Twitter at Take 3 Video and join our Facebook group, Take 3 Productions. We have a lot of great discussions about movies, television, comics, random shit that Abe posts at 2 in the morning when no one else is awake. So thank you to Doug and Cameron for being on the show. And yeah, that's it. I don't really have a sign off. Bye. Everyone just leave the call because I don't know how this works.
All right. Catch you later, guys.
See ya.
Bye.